Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Monday. Can we believe it's Monday and we're nearly halfway through October already? But today is a very exciting Monday because we have got our wonderful Holly Tucker MBE joining us today to give you some pearls of wisdom on how to really drive your business. Oh, I can see people are starting to come on. Happy days. This is what I like to see. Let us know if you're there, if you're in the chat. Good morning, Georgia. Good afternoon, I should say, Georgie. Good afternoon, Janine, Dawn. I can see Facebook user. Let us know if you are there. So loads of people. We've got Charlie, we've got Donna, Lisa is being tagged, Lucy. Oh my goodness, it's going crazy, which is so exciting. So we have got Holly joining us off the back of her live that she did last Wednesday. So guys, if you're watching today and you forgot to watch last week, go back. It's still on the Facebook pages. So it's on all of these Facebook pages. So please watch back because Holly's story is truly, truly inspirational. But you're not here to listen to me. You are here to listen to the wonderful Holly, who will share all of her hints and tips about building a personal brand. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Holly on to the stream. Hi, Holly.
Hello, everyone. Lovely to be here again. I'm watching everyone joining. It's absolutely fantastic to see the excitement.
It's so exciting. So yeah, really, really great. So guys, Holly will be going through all of her hints and tips, but we will be taking questions at the end. So I'm going to leave Holly and you guys, and then I'll come back on and ask your questions to Holly, put those questions to you. So get your thinking caps on. What do you want to know? What pearls of wisdom do you want from Holly? And we'll ask those at the end. So Holly, over to you.
Thank you very much. Well, today I'm here to talk to you about building your personal brand. And you might think, well, do you know a lot about this, Holly? Actually, I do, because my second business is called Holly & Co. And so I've had to build my personal brand over the last 7 years. Before that, I obviously built Not on the High Street, which was my business brand. But Holly & Co. is very much, it's got my name in the title. So that is what I have done. And so I wanted to share with you all some of my things that I know to be true, top tips, but really, ultimately, it's what I know to be true, and what has worked for me and what hasn't worked for me. So let me start. I think that it is very important that you understand that when you're building a brand, and I'm going to not stop saying personal brand, because actually this is true of any brand, but today we're talking about you personally. But if you think I mentor and have supported small businesses that are not normally one woman or one man bands, it's all about that personal brand. So a lot of people believe that they are not necessarily important to their personal brand. And I know that you probably are nodding your heads, but that ultimately the entire point of your brand is about who you are. And it's actually incredibly important that you recognize that you are fundamental in your brand. And so many people I'd speak to they sort of know this, but they sort of don't really understand this, i.e. you are the Duracell battery of your business. And I'm going to talk about that later. So if that is the case, and the business, your business that you're growing is about who you are, I want to just show you something. So when I was building Not on the High Street, and I did that for many, 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 many years, I basically became known as a tech entrepreneur, a woman in business. I was awarded my MBE. I had all these titles, and I'm CEO, and I was a chairwoman. And I believed that I needed to look a certain part. And here you can see me on I can't work out what side you'll be seeing this, but me in my suit, very much I was in a government building with that photograph. And here is me now. Here is me growing Holly & Co. And I wanted to put this slide together because I wanted to show you that being authentically yourself is one of the most important parts of your brand. And so many of us are captured in what we should do or what we should be. We watch Dragon's Den, we watch The Apprentice. We believe that that is what business is all about. So I just wanted to share with you that one of my biggest tips for building your brand is to understand who you are, and it's to understand what is important to you, because you are your brand. That goes into my second point, which is what I call the brand heart. And it's something that I've made up myself over the last 7 years, because so many small businesses that come to me who have just got one employee themselves, who is the boss of their company, they are the marketeers of their company, they are the admin person, they are the accounts person, that's all rolled into one. And sometimes we can forget that with all those jobs, what is our brand? What is the first job? What is the thing that the outside world will see? And I call it your brand heart, because I liken a business to someone's body, and your heart, the beating part of your body, the beating heart, is your brand. And so what I've done is broken that into 6 areas that you can see here. And one of the points of this is so that you can now, if you scribble down on a notepad or something, these are the areas that you need to build your brand heart. So I want you to ask yourself, what is a skill that you have that nobody else has? What is that thing that someone, if they were talking about you in a kind way behind your back, what would they say that you're fantastic at? What would they then tell you that you literally are the most passionate human being about what? What lights your fire? What makes you sing and dance? What is that thing that you're so passionate about? I also want you then to note down, what is your story? Have you been through a divorce? Have you been through illness? Have you got 5 children? Did you come from another country? What is your story? I then want you to understand what your purpose is. I want you to think about, what is your purpose on this planet? It's a very, very big question. But for instance, mine is to help as many people build a business doing what they love. That is my purpose. And ultimately, what that actually transcends into is making people happy, because I believe when you create a business doing what you love, it equates to happiness. So what is your purpose? Is your purpose to shine a light on I don't know, you've come from domestic abuse and you want to shine light on women who've had your experience and are bossing it now? Is your purpose something to do with your local community? Your purpose is always outside of what you do day to day. It's what this brand heart is what makes you as an individual, the founder of your brand, most fascinating. I then want you to understand what your voice is. Are you a naturally funny person? Are you naturally shy? What are the types of words that you would use? What is your tone of voice? Because every time you do an Instagram post, or every time you send out an email, or anytime you speak to someone, you will know what your tone of voice is. And then what is your image? Very, very much. If you think about your image, it is incredibly important what you're putting across to people. So is it creative and happy? Is it more minimalist? Is it all about the environment? What are those things? And I just wanted to pull together, for instance, I wanted to use my own personal brand to help you. So you can see here images that are very much Holly & Co, very much Holly. It's all to do with, for instance, I wear trainers. I've ditched the heels 7 years ago. I always love jewelry and accessories. I love color. I love little details. I always try and promote my values, such as shopping small and supporting female entrepreneurship. And then there are these things called Hollyisms, which I was very embarrassed about, because I'm dyslexic, was very embarrassed about my Hollyisms. But now this is my tone of voice. This is something that you would hear and you go, I bet you that's Holly. So I created words such as the sweaty palm theory. That's what I call women who are looking to shop and they get sweaty palms. The muddly wiggle, which is my dog's bottom when he gets excited. Don't bolognese it. That means don't make something over complicated. Like when you stir a bolognese, be more Steve. I interviewed an amazing woman, Stephanie, Dame Shirley, who basically her nickname is not Stephanie, it's Steve. And she's incredible. She's an entrepreneur still at the age of 90. So I say, be more Steve. Clear out your guilty cobwebs, which is us women and what we carry. Always be ambitious, which was due to an interview I did with Lord Billamoria, who created Cobra Beer. And he said, be humble, but also be ambitious. And he called it humbitious. Remember to juice your lemons, which is when you make sure that whatever you're doing, you're getting as much juice out of it. If you're going to a pop-up or a market, how are you juicing that lemon? Don't be a damp squib. That's just literally me thinking something was called something else. And it's not a damp squib, which is a damp squid, which is what I thought it was. It's a damp squib. And put on your big girl knickers is what I say to anybody who's in a rut and who needs some bravery. So I just wanted to give you those points, hopefully make you smile. But these are my Hollyisms and this is my image. How do you get out there? Well, this is one of the things, with your personal brand, how are you getting to your audience? So for instance, for myself and my personal brand, I use emails, I talk, I do public speaking. I have a podcast called Conversations of Inspiration. I go live on my Instagram and allow people to join me. I go on Instagram. I do grid posts every single day. You can follow me at Holly Tucker. I do meetups. So I bring people together. That's one of the most favorite things I do, which I'm sure you do with house parties and things like that, bringing people together. I have a Facebook community and I also have events. So if you were going to do this for your personal brand, your own brand, what would these boxes be? Because if you only have one box, then that means you are not amplifying yourself enough. And then that would come to my next point, which is basically that community is everything. Your community that you build is going to be the reason why you succeed or you fail. And community is basically the lifeblood of your company. And I believe in this quote, which is, that is a real banner that sits in my office. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has, because I believe in the power of community and bringing people together. So you don't need to try and find hundreds and thousands of people that believe in your personal brand. You probably need to find thousands and thousands, but not hundreds and thousands, not millions of people, because ultimately you need to build a community of people that matter and that want to stick around and watch your personal brand grow. Here are a few images of me and myself and my team and our community. It is a colorful community. So can you see how when you have your personal brand, you've identified who you are in that brand heart, then you can start to see people that you think should be in your community and reach out to them. So you are going to have more success when you build a community full of people who share the same values, share the same purpose, share a vision. So you, for instance, you can see here that my community is colorful. I'm colorful. We believe that business is there to do good. We believe that business is there to help each other. We're not a dog eat dogs sort of dragon's den community. We're not all sitting there in suits. Nothing wrong in suits, but that's not our group of people. If I was in a suit, this picture would look of other people in suits. We'd be in offices and we'd be networking. Again, nothing wrong. But do you see how important it is to establish your brand, who you are, so you can attract like-minded people who then want to follow you on Instagram. They want to join your lives. They want to read your emails. And remember, it is absolutely better to have quality rather than quantity. So it's all about, even though we want to build, as I said, thousands and thousands and thousands of people that believe in us, we don't need to think about hundreds and thousands, because sometimes that becomes completely overwhelming. And there's something that Seth Godin said, an entrepreneur, an author: if you have 1,000 people that care enough about what you do, that's enough. So for instance, I want you to think about, have you got groups of people that you would call your community? Would you say that they're loyal to you because you have established a connection with your brand? If not, don't worry at all about this. This is why I'm here today, to help you have a think about what you could do. And remember, one of the biggest things I would say here is that it's all about emotional commerce. When you've built your community, it's then about how you connect with your community. And I call it emotional commerce, emotional selling, because 95% of our decisions, and by the way, we make 35,000 decisions a day, 95% of them are emotional. And so you need to establish an emotional connection. Why? In my brand heart, your story matters. You're not just anybody, you're you. You have a very unique story. You're 1 in 400 trillion chances of you being born. So your story is your USP. It goes back to the fact that I called you a Duracell battery, because you are that beating heart. We're becoming citizens and campaigners rather than just customers. And we all will vote with our money. We'll vote with our money for the emotional connection that we have built with you, a customer to you. And then you need to converse not only with what you do every single day, so what you're selling, what the latest range is, what the benefits are. We want to also know who you are. What do you believe in? How could I get involved with some of your values? And that is how you create a deeper, longer lasting relationship with someone who will keep returning time and time again. And one of my last points is confidence. It is absolutely imperative that you have confidence. I think the majority of people I'll be speaking to today are women, and we're notorious when it comes to this word, confidence. So when you have established your brand heart and your personal brand, you're going to need confidence to go out there with that. And I would ask you, why not? You know, I live in gratitude. One of the things I always say to myself is, tomorrow might never come. You know, what am I going to be proud of when I'm no longer here? It makes you realize how short life is. And when you start to establish that sort of fact, your confidence builds, because ultimately, why the hell not? Why not me? Why can't I do this? I don't have much time on this planet. I need to go for it. I need to show the world. And you need to take those risks. One of the most amazing women I've interviewed is Sahar Hashimi. She created Coffee Republic. So this is before Starbucks. She actually brought coffee to the UK. And one of my biggest mottos in life, she said, is leap and the net will appear. The worst place to be is at the edge of the cliff looking down. So when you're about to be very nervous about what you're going to do, or to post something, or to go live, or to meet your community, or your house visits, whatever those things are, you've started growing your community, you're now going to show yourself. Know that all of us are nervous, but you have to take the risk, because as Sahar says, the net will appear and catch you if you take the risk. I hope that has helped you. I'm going to hand over now to you guys. If you have any questions, I'd be absolutely happy to answer them.
Wow, Holly. I mean, whilst those questions come in, thank you. I think like powerful was the last comment that I've just seen. And yeah, so powerful. I think some of the things that you said, that heart is really, really important, isn't it? That heart to your brand. And I think, let's be honest, people can go out and buy Avon from many different channels, and it's you, that individual, that makes the difference, which is so incredible. Damp squid. I thought it was damp squid too. Apparently not.
There you go. I mean, that if you learn anything from this, it's a damp squib.
I love it. The tone of voice and getting out there in loads of different ways, I think, is so important. Like-minded people and bringing that quality is so important. That last piece you said around the kind of emotional connection, I think that just really resonated with me, because I think sometimes we just think, oh, we put books through doors, or we have someone buy something, but actually, why are they buying it from you? So I think we've got some love in the chat. Have we got any questions, guys? Come on, we've got Holly here. I'm sure you've got some questions. What questions do you have out there? I think my kind of initial sort of thought whilst they're coming through, Holly, would be really, oh, hang on, there are questions coming through, but my initial thought would be around if I'm starting out, if I'm a relatively new representative, obviously you do a lot. You do Instagram, you do emails, you do kind of a bit of so many different things. I think there are 8 different things. Where would you recommend starting to create that connection to your community?
Yeah. I would just say social media. You know, Holly & Co was built on social media, and it's the free tool for everybody to use. And you can use it in so many ways. And sometimes that can be actually a bit daunting. So I would say, think about who your customer is. Where are they? Are they on Instagram? Are they on TikTok? Are they on Facebook? Pick 2 areas of social media. So 2 platforms. So let's say you'd pick Instagram and you pick Facebook. Then in Instagram and Facebook, there's so many ways that you can communicate with your customers. Again, you need to pick a few that you feel comfortable with. So if you are full of personality and you feel okay to do maybe some videos of yourself, introduce yourself to everybody. Okay. And in that as one of your main Instagram posts, that people can just get to know who you are. Maybe you're actually shyer than that and you don't want to put yourself forward. Do some brilliant video stories of the products, and maybe do just your voice coming through, taking someone through. Social media has got so many ways that you can get out there. Look at your analytics on social media, see how many views, what time to post in the mornings, in the evenings, and understand that. So I would say, if you're new, use social media as your tool, introduce yourself, and remember, maybe some of the questions coming through, emotional connection, that brand heart, your story is one of the most important things that distinguishes you against somebody else. And only you can have that story. And it's not boring. People do want to know. But if you establish an emotional connection with your customer, they're going to come back time and time again. And then you almost know, well, that customer's safe. Now I'm going to work on a new customer. And ideally, that is what you build up, so that you have quality customers who are continuously coming back to you, rather than feeling you only have to get new.
Do you know what? I love that. And I think that's really kind of simplified it for new representatives out there watching. Like, actually, like, go to social media, pick a couple of social media platforms, and then start. You've got to start somewhere. So loads of questions coming through now. I think there was a wee bit of a delay. So Janine has said, can I ask, do you write your own emails when you send them out? Do you write them, or do you just your team write them?
I do. I write everything. So every grid post you see, I'm dyslexic, and 7 years ago, I got the courage to write my first grid post. And pretty much I write one every single day for the last 7 years, including weekends. And I also write every single email, because it's really important that you get that my customers know it's me and not a member of the team. Now, I'll get it checked for spelling and things like that. But, and sometimes they'll add some bits in, but it is from me. And I think, again, it is better for you to do the quality rather than quantity. So if you're worried about something, you're like, well, I just can't do that. What could you do and what could you manage? And make sure that it's quality rather than just serving out things and getting a few likes. Work on something and get proud of it, and then post it, because I think people prefer quality rather than quantity.
Love that. Yeah, I think you're getting a lot of, wow, that's fantastic. Love that. Wow, that's amazing. And I think that takes it back to it's your voice, isn't it? It's they're wanting to hear you, which is great. Dawn has asked, do you plan your social media kind of as a whole week and what that's going to look like, or is it just what inspires you each day?
We plan a month. So basically, I use a tool called Trello. and it allows you to, because I'm very visually stimulated, so it allows me, rather than just doing lists, which I love a good list, don't get me wrong, it allows me to plan. You can plan anything, by the way, on it, but we plan our social on it. So let's say on a Monday, we'll put the image that we're going to use, and then I write the copy within my Trello, and then that allows me to go and post it. So we plan about a month in advance, but not every day, because sometimes things happen and you need to be reactive. But it allows me to feel that I've sort of got a good melody of the month, So let's say it's October. It's all about, isn't it? The kids are now back at school. It's autumn. We're feeling wintry. We've got Halloween coming up. There's a sort of definite, distinct difference between, let's say it was March, right? And so that's allowing me to sort of plan what those images might look like, what that tone of voice is.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Becky has asked, and I think this is a really good Monday question, and also going into winter, how do you keep motivated when the results are not showing? I think motivation can often be a challenge.
So number one, it's just to say, I was just talking to someone else about this. It's get on the balcony of your business, understand, have you done everything that, let's say, I've just gone through? Have you really built your brand heart? Do people really know who you are? Have you got a distinct look or style or tone of voice? Do you think about all of those sorts of things? Do you understand who your customer sort of is? Because let's just say, if we're saying about quality over quantity, then you are going to be connecting with a certain type of customer. So I potentially wouldn't connect as much with my son's friends who are 18, okay, as I would with a 45-year-old woman who likes color. So until I make that distinction, I then understand who my customer is. I then do my brand heart to connect emotionally with my customer. And I would say, if you are doing all of those things, the sales should be coming in. So my thought is that you haven't. And also, never panic that the sales aren't coming in. It just means there's more opportunity for you to modify your business, to put something in place that makes it start turning again. Never look at, I always look at low trading periods as an opportunity for me to learn how I can do better. So I don't sort of get myself into depression or lowness. I actually go, come on, right, what am I going to do then to change this? Because ultimately we know women are buying skincare out there. Okay. So it's not that they're not buying, it's how you're tapping into them. And that means that there's opportunity.
I love that. I really love that. So potentially it's taking a step back, looking at your brand heart. Have you kind of got that nailed? Do you know your purpose? Do you know your tone of voice?
Do you know your customer? Do you know who you would most likely resonate with, rather than trying to spread yourself too thin across anybody and everybody? It's if you know your group of customers that you want to go for, it helps you say no. Saying no to things is as important as saying yes. It's actually more important. So, if, let's say, I didn't know who my customer was, I would say yes to TikTok, but I say no to TikTok right now. So it allows me to stop doing things and spreading myself too thin.
Yeah, do the things right. Love that. So Marika has said, how do we structure our story so we don't get waffly and waffle off the topic? Because apparently Marika says she waffles a lot.
Okay, so for waffles, I would say you need 3 key points. No one's going to take in more than 3 things. So I would write your story, okay, and I would write and waffle away. Then I would try and say, okay, so what are the chapters in my story? So you can have multiple chapters. So for myself, it was my younger years, how I started. It was the fact that I then got divorced and had a brain tumor. I then went on to build some businesses. Then I went on to build Not on the High Street, and now I built Holly & Co. So I have sort of 5 chapters. In each one of those chapters, have a think of 3 points that really cement that part of your chapter, and don't give it all away too soon. This is something that you want to bring out now and again, tell another part of your story. So I would just look for 3 parts in every chapter. And then each one of those parts could be a post. It could be just something. Remember also, don't waffle too much on Instagram copy or emails. You know, you need to understand, how is this useful for the person watching and looking at this? So you can absolutely tell a part of it, but make sure you don't just write stuff for the sake of writing.
Okay. I love that. And thinking of your story in chapters, that's a really, really
Yeah.
great way. Right. I'm conscious of time, but we've got a couple more questions if that's okay, Holly. So
Yeah, of course.
Lucy has said, a lot of my customers are elderly and not on social media. How would you get around this?
Okay, well, if they are elderly, firstly, by the way, why don't you get them on social media? That's what I would say. You know, the silver pound is an incredibly important pound to get, and people are now spending more, and we're living longer. We're spending more and more money as we get older. I would say that one of the things you could do is help them get onto social media. They probably do have an email address. And so actually, have you thought about email marketing? So maybe a weekly newsletter. And if your customers are older, this is the important thing. If you know who your customer is, and let's say they are elderly, think about what they're interested in then. So maybe you want to compose an email that's not about the products necessarily you're selling, but maybe it is about reminiscing. And you could do 5 facts about 1962. Let's just say that. I'm making this all up, by the way. You then have a purpose, don't you, outside of what you're doing, for that person to read your email. And every week you could pick a new year. At the bottom of that email could be the new products that you'd like to talk to her about, but that you've created something that she's interested in. And it allows you to not just say, will you sign up to my email because I'm going to tell you about skincare, or I'm going to tell you about the latest product. No, you're saying, do you love history? Oh my gosh, so do I. I'm doing this email all about, each year I pick 5 great things. And I'm going to just tell you about new things I've got there. But I've just made that completely up. But that is what you could do for every single customer. Don't necessarily think of yourself only as an Avon rep. You are you. Let's say your name's Mary. Mary can create a personal brand. You are an Avon rep, but you can create something that actually is all about who you are, and you happen to be helping them with their skincare needs.
I love that. I think that's just so different.
I don't know how useful that would be, but do you see what I mean? Make something.
I'm loving it, Holly.
Okay, good.
They're loving it. I love that it's just in your head. Right, 2 more questions and then I'll let you go. So the next one is, I find it hard to keep my Facebook group motivated and engaged. I do post videos and chat, but need some new ideas. Any kind of top tips?
Again, have you done your personal brand heart? Because actually it's endless. So if I said that, it would mean that, you know, I'm only good for a year and I'm retiring when I'm 90. So I've got to have another 45 years worth of content. Now, because I know that I love color and I love fashion and I love small businesses and I love women and I love building up women. I love entrepreneurs. I love new ideas. I love products. I love all these things. It's endless. It is literally endless. I bore people to tears all the time with it. So if you know who your brand heart is, you never can stop creating content that's motivating. And I think, again, this is really important. If you're only engaging on the fact that you are an Avon partner and that you are promoting products, and that's the only thing you do, then of course they're not engaging with you, because you need to give yourself as well. You need to create this personal brand where actually this week they're just looking at my headbands, right? And they really want to know about headbands. And so I do a whole post on headbands. The next day, I might do a post on the latest makeup that's come out. Do you see what I mean? So interlink yourself so that you're never, ever tired of content. Because I think if it's only about one thing, then they'll feel like you're selling to them. And the whole point is you're trying to create an emotional connection.
Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on that in your slides as well about people, I forget how you said it, but they're not just spending money, they're making those decisions and voting with their money
consumers are now campaigners. Consumers vote with their money, and they will vote with their money for someone that they believe in. And
Yeah.
that is why your entire journey, even as a small business, going to, film things on your phone, not just about skincare or makeup, but about some of the things that your customers really care about. Work out what those things are and then give them that content, because you're going to get far more engagement and loyalty if you bring color to their lives.
Love it. And there's so much. So the last question, my main customers are on Facebook. I grew TikTok to 11K overnight, and this helped my group grow. I need to build Instagram so I can get a shop up on Facebook, but I struggle with Instagram. Should I just leave Instagram for now?
Wow. Okay. So TikTok and Facebook. I wouldn't. Instagram is incredibly powerful. So I built the whole of Holly and Co on Instagram. And I would say that you just got to look at those users. So it could be that you have three types of customers. You've got your Facebook customer, your TikTok customer, and then your Instagram customer. And I would then go and have a look and maybe talk to someone in your community about what they do. Instagram is very much about sharing, I would say, more beautiful shots and more beautiful imagery. And maybe it's about using Instagram to its fullest potential. So if you go and head over to YouTube, there'll be almost those tutorials about the difference between Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and really understand what that is. And also maybe even do surveys on your TikTok and Facebook to see, do they use Instagram? So I'm not to tell you that they're definitely your customer is on Instagram. I would hazard a guess that they are. So really just ask your customers at the moment, do they use Instagram, and what would they want to see on Instagram that's different? Remember, your channels should have different content on them, unfortunately. So you shouldn't just repost. You can repost bits, but you need to create original content. And then that brings me back to that fact, quality over quantity, everyone.
I love it. Do you know what? I love it. And the questions are still coming in. We could be here all day.
Oh, right. We can answer a couple more. I don't mind.
Are we all right? Right. Let's just see what they've said. So if you've been using Instagram to promote Avon, should you start again if you are promoting you as a brand, or just change direction? And would you change the name of your Insta business?
Well, I would change your name of your Insta business to be about your personal brand to start with. Then no need for a separate account, just crack on. Posts are a bit like cat litter tray stuff. People don't really go back too far. So you don't need to worry. You can absolutely start tomorrow. Well, don't start tomorrow because you need to work out who your personal brand is. But next week you could start and just start as you mean to go on. But make sure, I would say, that your handle is reflective of your personal brand, okay? And not just that you're an Avon rep. If you did that little description, it would be one line of your description, because remember, you're looking for people to engage in you, and you then are an Avon rep, but you're not just an Avon rep, right? And that is going to make you far more likely to have loyal customers who come back to you more than if you are just silo as an Avon rep.
I love, do you know what, Holly? I love that. And that actually resonates. We were at the Long Service Awards last week, had a 92-year-old lady there whose customers will not shop with anyone else. She keeps trying to retire, but no, she's not retiring, bless her, because they love her so much. Do you know what? There's so much brilliant feedback in the chat. I think we've answered all the questions. It looks like just loads of feedback. People are going back, starting to kind of think about their brands and how they're going to kind of revisit this. Absolutely loving that. People buy from people. Absolutely. A lot of wows. Thank you so much. Loads of different bits in the chat, which is absolutely fantastic. But guys, this is not the end of our Holly journey, is it, Holly? We've got so much more to come.
So much more, and it's just such an honor to be here to help you with your businesses. And if anything I can do, but I just want you to believe in yourself, to believe in your personal brand, and to understand that that is going to make the difference. If you can crack your personal brand, then literally the sky is the limit.
I love that. So guys, just to give you a bit of a taster for what's to come, Holly will be joining us at the beginning of November. So by that point, you will have all had time to really think about your personal brands and put that into practice, I'm sure. And she'll be talking to us about that Christmas piece and really making the most of those Christmas customers and making them loyal for life. So loads and loads and loads there. But she's also going to be doing some 12 weeks of Christmas, which will be launching with us very soon, where she's going to give you some sneak peeks, some little tips as to what to do for your business in that week to really maximize it over the biggest 12 weeks of the year. So Holly, thank you. It's been so great. The feedback is incredible. I've got goosebumps. Have a lovely afternoon, everyone, and we will see you, and we'll tell everyone about Holly coming back very soon.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.